Hello once again, I'm back with another Sean Saturday here on the Bumbling Blogger. So for this video I had to change our location to our lovely bedroom shelf, which you'll see one day eventually at some point when we do a full book tour where we keep most of our trade paperbacks. And the reason for getting our trade paperbacks is because I'm going to be discussing the difference between all of these different types of books and their durability tests, use, like the durability of the books, the comfort to read, and the cost, really, which is the main factor between them. So let's start with possibly my best comparison for how a series can change. I think it's probably the best way to start. So these are all Samantha Shannon's, the Bone Season books. Got the Bone Season, which is a nice hardback, which is not too bad. It's quite unwieldy. Like, the main reason why I'm not a fan of hardbacks is because they're just awkward to read. Like, you basically have to just read them in this bit. Oh, this one's signed to Alyce. That's cool. Didn't know that. But obviously, as the series goes on, don't know which one is which. Yeah, summarising. This is a proof, similar sort of size to the hardback, and they are identical. But it's just much easier to. It's nice to read. It's much floppier, so I can hold it like this, and I can read it like that. It's much lighter. But then we have the standard size books, and to be honest, I have big hands, so these aren't too bad. But then also, this isn't too bad for me. So I think it's very much as a outlier for me, because I prefer the big format paperback books, I think, because they just feel a lot nicer in my hand. I don't feel like I'm gripping something that's meant for children. So yeah, but you can tell that even in a series, the books can easily change. So if you're trying to go for the visuals, you're always better off trying to get for the hardback. But sometimes it's just too hard to get hardbacks. Like our Wheel of Time series, we don't even have it as a complete series yet. But this is book 2, and this is book 13. They are significantly different in just about every single aspect. Let me just check how many pages this is meant to be. 860 pages. Well, that's also including the glossary. And this is near 700? 707 pages. It's like, that looks a lot more than 100 pages. Like, I have a Darren Shan Demon Art book, and this is 150. Oh no, this is 260. So if I get the trade, or the pulp book, compare it, and a regular paperback, it's near identical. This is going to be extra 150 pages in these, but these still weigh a lot less than this one hardback. It's like hardbacks just have a lot more meat to their bones, but you can always kind of get two ways to show off a hardback. You get the nice naked hardback, which if you have a nice fancy edition, which we don't have right here, but these, if you can see them, the Sabah Tahira Ember in the Ashes series has a nice fairy one, so they like different colours, really nice. That's the main thing that you can only really get with hardbacks, is like fancy sprayed edges, fancy foiling on the spine. I think the nicest you can really get with a paperback or a trade would be just maybe a bit of foiling in embossed letters. Like this is a second-hand book, and you can tell that it's really beaten up, and it's got a lot of character with a cracked spine, a really cracked spine, like dog-eared everywhere. But if I lent this to you, it wouldn't be too bad. But if I lent, I don't know, let's go for the Tower of Midnight. If I like this to you, like I wouldn't really. I don't know. I feel a bit weird. Like obviously, it's second hand, but it's start getting a bit ripped up and caught up all in all the pages. And I think my best comparison in this, like we also have some nice small trade, like the trade equivalent of a hardback, which again, even though it's quite simple and quite small, you can still get really creative with the hardback on it. And like this is possibly one exception to the size, because you can read this quite easily with one hand for a long time because of how light it is. Because it's so tiny that you can read it up in the sky. But it has the same problem that you can only really hold it in this exact way, like this, and like. But I don't want that. Like sometimes if I'm reading, I want to like bend the pages around. Like this is excellent because I can like the cracked spine is like really great. I just don't mind because I'm not going to crack it myself. It's already pre-cracked for me. That's a strange thing. It's pre-cracked. Right. This is the exact same book, exact same page count. I'll see. Like I've had this book since I was a child, and it's quite beaten up. It survived many years. It survived going camping with me, and it survived many house moves. This is a second-hand Lord Loss, and I can't remember where I got it from, but it's in a much. Like the pages feel a lot newer than these ones. Like they feel like they've been read a lot less, but it's just a lot more beaten up, and like you can see where it's like the cardboard inside the whatever binding this is covering it is like it's starting to show. And that's the main issue I have with paperbacks. They're just hardbacks. Oh, interesting. Free guitar pick. It's just really started to look like it's had a lot of abuse, but I probably haven't had anyone near the same amount of abuse as this has. Oh, this is a much worse condition, but I feel comfortable reading this. It just looks very sorry for itself, and I don't know, like if it was in nicer condition, I'd definitely display it with just the red end page, but because it's quite beaten up, I think it looks a lot nicer with just the jacket on. If it comes down to cost, this was $5.99 when it was published, and this was $12.99. So this is almost double. This is more than double. No. Yeah, £6, and then 13. This is more than double the cost of this book. I can get twice as many books for the cost of getting one hardback. So like, if I want to read just volume of books and like most economically, you just got to go for paperbacks. They're easier to travel, easier to carry. Like you don't feel so bad when you rip them up and damage them. They're cheaper. They're easier to find just in general, because once the book starts being hardback, once it's had its first printing and stuff, it goes to paperback. It's so much easier and readier to find. I think, and all in all, if you're going to be going back to work, which many of us are going to be going back, you just want to get a nice second-hand paperback of a series you don't know you're going to love. But obviously, we are reading Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time and we love it, so we're going to hopefully try and get a bunch of hardbacks. But yeah, I thought I was going to have a conclusion to this point. I haven't. I've just kind of talked myself around in circles, and it's just very much up to you and your personal preference. But I think really the best way to read is on a Kindle and an audiobook, because this is one device, and you can get Kindles and audiobooks all in it. You can buy them instant download with Amazon, just like boop, instant download. Don't have to go out, have to leave my house. Yeah, a bit of an interesting twist at the end, but yeah, what are you gonna do? Alright, I will see you next week. Next week. Sunday's a new week. I'll see you next Saturday, if not earlier. You have a lot of stuff planned for later on this week. You know, have a bunch of I think it's a wrap up still got to go up, and a reading vlog that we're gonna do, which is gonna be really cool. Hopefully, if Alice's tooth is feeling better. So remember to smash the subscribe button to see what we're gonna do and what's gonna be like, and hopefully you're interested. But remember to leave me a comment if you disagree with my conclusion. I will see you later, and bye.